I didn't sleep at 2 a.m, my body wasn't used to it. My body was like, nah, fuck you. So I'm gonna do some research. Okay. Oh, my desk is so messy. Ah, fuck, I don't care. Let me clean this up. I want to put this up actually. I didn't have time for my house inspection, but I had this news. I think I got it from my friend in high school. Oh, that was 17 years ago. Not gonna think about that. Oh, my exercise for today. I can stay there. And the look. Hell yeah. Ooh, I haven't read this in longer in a while. Ooh, a research book. Another great manga. It's my favorite. I think it's an all-time one, really. Oh, hell yeah. Come on, man. Another thing I need to hang up. From my experience, when you want to do a PhD, no matter the subject or anything, one, very crucial, you have to ask yourself, are you fucking sure? 2, are you really fucking sure? And 3 is, where did it go? I had notes from my uni. Oh, that clever. Oh, I know where it is. It's in here. Woo. Alrighty, shout outs to UOW for giving us a template and explaining shit on how to write a research proposal. Alright, so key things to think about is your purpose. Why are you going to spend 4 years, 8 years part-time, something to sustain you, something that you're actually going to be interested to learn? What's your subject? What's your motivation? What's your purpose? So yeah, it's important to think about all those things. And people may be asking, oh, for visual arts, I just want to paint or do ceramics, and why write about it when I can just do it? First of all, don't sass me, you fuck. Second of all, we all have a reason. Even if we don't really think about it, why we do this stuff, In art academic research, it's also very crucial to find knowledge gaps. Again, you've got to sustain yourself on a topic that you're really interested and you want to research. You want to actually contribute to the dialogue, to the discourse of your particular subject. At least that's how it was, that's the sort of gist that I got when I was doing my thesis. It's also very important to back that up with previous research, with say journal articles, books, that sort of stuff. When you're, breaking new ground, finding out new knowledge, of course it's essential to go back to founding sort of ideas and philosophies, as well as noticing history and trends. That's the art history side of it. But it's also just as, vital to look at the most recent progressions in this particular topic, or if you're inspired by a certain factor and topic that you want to incorporate into it. For example, for me, it would be art therapy. I'm no psychologist, certainly not qualified, however, it does inform my work in trauma art and art as a healing tool. So yes, that's the sort of ideas that I've gathered, and I'm gonna take care of that. I think though at the moment I am very I have no material. I chucked out my wall a couple of years back. It was getting quite grotty anyway, and we needed space in my ex's house because we moved in with his family, and that's partly why I haven't been doing needle felt work. I really need my own room. I was quite fortunate actually to move into my own unit with 2 rooms. Yes. So I'm going to try to find some wool locally, if I can help it. There's a couple of nice places in Wollongong that I have bought from previously, and I need tools as well. I can't find my felting needles anywhere. Righto, so I've been having a look at a really nice site called Fibre Art Shed. It's a local one. The price is quite decent, especially because I'm just trialing them out. So I don't really mind. I actually found some nice wool, that one, for a upcoming project. I'm thinking I might make an Octopath, like from Octopath Traveler, because I've always wanted to do that. It's one of my favorite games and franchises. Anyway, been sussing out a few options. I do like this mix. I like this mix indeed. Oh yes. Lovely deep reds there. Very nice embers. This one, it's not too bad, but it's a bit too light. I do like it, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think that it's best for my project. Let's see here, I've also got it's that one, sorry. This one's quite nice. It's just the colour, mulberry dyed tops. So mulberry is nice. This terracotta one is nice too. And I really like ruby or loganberry. That one's more deeper and more subtle out of the two, but they're all good. Alright, so I think I might purchase them now. I think I might nearly leave it there. I think I want to do the literature review or delving into artworks and needle felting examples. But to cap things off nicely, because we were talking earlier about the purpose of research and picking your subject and your themes that you like to explore, I found something pretty cool, and something by that I mean something very painful to read. Okay, so just gonna read out kind of a summary of it. This is actually, what I'm about to read out is the proposal that I applied for in my honours course. So this would have been written up in November 2018, if memory serves correct, and it rarely fucking does. But anyway, this is just to show you guys the difference between your proposal and your finished product, especially because we're talking about a long time this project is going to take place from 4 full-time to 8 part-time. And the reason why I want to share this is not only because I like pain, but I think it's good to kind of just reassure you that you don't necessarily have to have a fully formed idea from the get-go. The point of this sort of thing, any sort of study project, is to develop it. As long as you have a general gathering of what you want to do, you'll be fine. This was very different to my final product, final artwork, exhibition, final thesis. So while it is very painful to read, it was a starting point, so, you know, fuck off. I'm just joshing our gather around children, the water's warm, with these nubs, I'm not gonna bite. purpose of this research project is to explore the therapeutic applications of needle felting, using its repetitive and labour-intensive process to face personal trauma and anxieties. On the whole, it's much the same. This dissertation will be supported by an accompanying creative project which investigates the qualities of my chosen medium, being needle felting. Soft sculptural installation deals with intrusive toxic thoughts coming from both internal and external sources. There's a little bit of deviation there, however, it's still much the same, so I don't mind it as much. I think I was mainly dealing with, emotional distress, complex trauma, and the repetitive process of needle felting itself. I just wasn't introduced to those official names for it. I haven't identified them at this stage. Keep in mind that when I started this, I had a 5-year break from studying visual arts at the uni. I achieved my bachelor's in, I suppose 2014 was my final year, I think. Sorry about the mic quality, I had to change it because I have no storage left on my phone, so I hope you don't mind too much. Okay. In addition, I will be undertaking research on the connection between art therapy and textile art. Hang on. What the hell's going on here? This will include looking into reports and observations on the emotional healing effects, maybe by participating in textile handcrafts, as well as profiling a few textile artists working in different mediums who deal with themes of trauma in their processes. Okay. So, as you can tell, I had a general idea of what I wanted to investigate. Now, here's where it kind of deviates, because as I'm going through the beginning stages of looking at, say, key artists and literature review, you have to pick like a few main books that's gonna like inform you throughout the whole thing. This is where it kind of deviates. Okay, for this research project, I will look at the theoretical works of Julia Kristeva and Jacques Lacan, I don't know the pronunciation, focusing on Kristeva's text approaching abjection. I think I do have that book. I will apply these ideas in art therapy to establish one's own identity and value by rejecting psychological abjection. I think I was more into the grotesque at this time. Here's a quote from her, from 1982, from that book I'm assuming. I expel myself, I spit myself out, I object myself within the same motion through which I claim to establish myself. Another theorist I will discuss is Jacques Lacan and his idea on liminal spaces, which I actually did incorporate into the exhibition itself, so pretty chuffed about that. In this context, not only the physical process behind the creation of a project, but also dealing with its autobiographical subject of transitioning between one emotional place to another and severing oneself from toxic relationships. Oh, that's interesting. So already in those early stages, I was looking at autobiography. That's fantastic. Severing oneself from toxic relationships. I think at that time, that was my plan, but then I developed into healing those relationships, which is much more productive and much more positive. So happy that I changed it. Alright, let's see here. Other academics that will be relevant in my research include Jessica Hemming, who discusses contemporary textiles and its contribution to current society. I think I did quote her in a few things, yeah. She's a fantastic scholar that, is really an expert on contemporary textile art. Can recommend. Alright, now here's where it gets interesting. It's very drastic how I envisioned my creative project
from what it turned out to be. And I'm much happier for it. Okay, here we go. My proposed creative project is a large-scale sculptural installation depicting a deformed family tree. It is visibly rotting and in a state of self-destruction. I would say decay there. Anyway, branches represent human hands attacking each other. That's where the toxicity comes from, as well as the trunk which connects them all. Separated from this disorder is the focus of this piece, one severed branch reaching towards an unknown destination, just anywhere but here. Yeah, as you can see, This creative project is informed by ideas of abjection. Yes, that's what I was very much interested during my time getting my bachelor's. In this context, unpleasant, intrusive and self-destructive thoughts formed by a combination of mental illnesses such as my own bipolarism and deeply rooted external influences from toxic family relationships. This is depicted through the installation, formed as a monstrous diseased tree. I don't think I expanded on my bipolar disorder in this particular proposal, and I think in the final work. However, I am going to apply that into this work. The installation will also serve as a monument for a liminal site, the personal grieving of finding a new safe space within other people depicted in the lone branch's journey. My intent for the space is to evoke ambiguity, and it is up to the viewer's discretion whether the severed branch lives or withers and dies. Okay, yeah. So I was envisioning, I believe at the time, the colour palette being, full of reds and natural colours. I was very much influenced by wooden rings and wood rot and one of those like bleeding trees. I thought that was pretty cool. Much more violent, much more gory. So I'm very happy with how my work ended up developing. Now onto the abstract for my final dissertation, which I entitled "With Every Fibre of My Being, Handling Silent Trauma Through Slow Textile Making." Let's have a comparison review. I'm quite proud of this one actually. I'm just going to read the abstract again. According to psychiatric studies, verbal recollection of trauma can be a debilitating task which may cause further distress. This honours project investigates how the slow textile method of needle felting can articulate the silenced voice of trauma through touch. The catalyst of this project stems from my personal experiences with complex trauma and the lack of language to process and express traumatic memories. This research project is motivated by my desire to recover, regain, and strengthen my own voice through the non-verbal language of art. Okay, so here is the research question at hand. You need it. My research asks, how can slow textiles provide the transactive means to respond to silenced trauma through touch in a contemporary art context? As you can see, we are playing around with some themes that I proposed in the other one. Jill Bennett's Empathic Vision, my first key text, provides the key theoretical framework for investigating how contemporary art can approach trauma. Challenging traditional trauma studies that orient towards literary expression, Bennett argues for art's transactive capacity to convey traumatic events beyond representation. I draw from this framework the concept of inhabited place to transmit the sense memory of trauma, analysing the artworks of Vanessa Beecroft, who I just roasted in this chapter, Doris Salcedo, Joseph Boys, and Louise Bourgeois through Bennett's theory. I tease out artistic strategies employed in approaching trauma, both personal and societal. Locating these artistic strategies inform my practice-based research in identifying the significance of tacit knowledge in both art therapy and craft processes. Practice-led research methodology is central to developing and producing the outcomes of this project, which is kalag. That just means like ghost and spirit in my mum's language. This installation connects haptic and tacit forms of making, needle-felted objects and handcrafted works, within the context of contemporary art, informed by techniques utilised by Boys, Bourgeois, and Stephanie Metz, who is my favourite artist. Kalag is crafted as a contemplative, ritualistic, and inhabited space that reconcile emotions of familial estrangement and disaffection with the desires for healing. So I took a completely different approach, but I'm still talking about family and trauma. With Every Fibre of My Being is a practice-based research project that argues that by calling attention to the sense of touch, slow textiles provide a sensory path towards a deeper understanding of trauma through non-verbal means. There's the knowledge gap there. The project highlights the need of translating encounters with complex trauma through material forms and the tacit processes of craft making. It paves the path for further exploration into the contemporary art as an evocative medium to approach trauma.
After all that yapping, what's the take here? I suppose if anything, it's just try not to get bogged down in the details. If you truly believe in the potential of your project, totally embrace it, totally go for it, let it evolve. That's certainly what happened to me, and it's changed me for the better. Somehow my work ended up making the Dean's List for some reason, so you know, I kind of know what I'm blabbering on about a little bit. Anyway, thanks very much for tuning in and hearing me go on and go on. I don't know when the next one will be, but I wasn't expecting to do this within a day. It's actually my longest video. But anyway, thank you very much. See you later. Hopefully not too long.